22nd Annual Garden State Film Festival. There are 200 films from over 14 countries, all happening March 21st to the 24th this year. I am your host, Emily DeSimone, and I'm here with director and co-writer JT Duran and co-writer and producer Alan Martin of the short films Una Carta, Hijas, and Miracle on 74th Street. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Can you give our audience a little bit about your films?
Absolutely, Emily. Thank you for having us, man. Jersey represent. I spent 10 years of my life in Bergen County, went to William Patterson University, so I feel like I'm at home right now. Look, I also grew up in Queens and JT grew up in Queens. And the idea was that we kind of feel like, Queens doesn't get the sort of representation it deserves in the movies the way Manhattan has or the way, LA has. And, Queens is the most diverse community in the entire world. There are more languages spoken here in Queens than any other place in the world, right? So we wanted to make a series of films that honor the legacy of Queens, the culture of Queens. That's part of that's what's behind the process.
So can you guys tell me a bit about your background in filmmaking?
Oh man, background in filmmaking. When I was a little kid, my mom took me to the movies because she didn't know what the hell to do with me. When she took me to the movies, I was completely immersed, speechless. I was home. This rambunctious, crazy kid from Queens, this poor kid with a mom who was struggling. We found a place that suited me and gave her some solace. And ever since then, all I've wanted to do is make films. And I was able to go to film school, made short films, took a little break because my mom was sick and work and life and other things. But now I'm back and, making a new series of films. Now I'm at the best I've ever been in terms of directing and writing it. And these films, I think, reflect that, And I have, my brother, my creative partner. I'm at the place where I want to tell really meaningful stories and great films. And I think these two films reflect that, So this is a long journey, but it's sort of the journey of my lifetime.
And Alex, what about you?
Yeah, for me, so, my relationship with film is, it's interesting because I grew up in Haiti. Now, the town that I grew up in, there were only 3 families that had VCRs, and I was one of them. So my house was always this place where the neighborhood will come and gather to watch American films in a language we did not understand because none of us spoke English, right? But we were just so fascinated by these films we were watching, by the imagery, by this picture of America we were seeing, right? And so in that sense, filmmaking for me has always been this very endearing experience, right? To me, it's always been this thing that brings the community together, right? I still remember the first time I went to the movies because the place I grew up in Haiti didn't have a movie theater. So the first time I went to the movies was here. I was 11 years old, and the first movie I saw was Terminator 2 ever in the movies. And I remember being blown away by that experience. Like, wow, this is phenomenal. Yeah, so I fell in love with film ever since then. I've tried my hand at a couple of things. I got to say I failed miserably. With that being said, though, I did spend the last 10 years working on a feature documentary, The Forgotten Occupation, about the U.S. occupation of Haiti. We played at some film festivals, and I just handed my files this morning to a distribution company that took us on.
Congrats,
so now I'm looking to work with my brother JT to make more banging movies.
Yes.
I would say that so you're doing very well in making it into all of these film festivals and being here with the Garden State. But Please, I apologize for interrupting.
No, all good, Emily. I think the stories we are telling, they reflect our values and our experiences. So we not only want to make great cinema, but it's ingrained in our being to kind of show the story of the immigrant, the underdog, the person with the big dream, the American dream. That's what these two films are about. They're about the people who come here with dreams, who aspire to fulfill those dreams despite all the hardships they face. Like that's the story of America. And in a lot of ways, that's the story of our life. I'm not an immigrant, but I'm a kid who was so poor growing up. Like, God, we hardly had anything, but we had our dreams and we fought for them. And that's the journey of our lives in filmmaking.
So thank you so much for sharing your background and how close, film is to you and your personal lives. It's really touching to hear those things about how you grew up and how your life has been impacted by film. Can you tell our audience about what the process of filming these particular films was like?
Good question.
Yeah. Well, just very stressful because yeah, shot him on a shoestring budget.
No budget.
Yeah, pretty much no budget.
My man had COVID.
I caught COVID, stayed home, so I was kind of like on the phone, just
directing by phone,
finding out what's going on, right? And one shoot, you got kicked out of JFK because we didn't have any permits to shoot, but we managed to steal a couple of shots. Yeah.
These were sort of like to what I was saying earlier about like immigrants and pushing ahead despite big obstacles. We made these films for like literally next to nothing. We made sure we paid our talent, but we did not take any money from the budget. We operated camera, we operated audio, we found locations. We did everything we could to find locations that, had some production value and really looked substantial and real. These were all real locations. Nothing was really dressed too much.
Yeah, man. Sorry, no green screen.
Yeah, no. This was gritty.
Nothing against the green screen, but
a little bit against green screen. I can't stand bad green screen, but you like that green screen stuff?
Hey, man, you don't know who's watching. Might be
you're traded.
Big Hollywood producer, and they all
listen. I'll call out James Cameron right now, Mr. Cameron. If you're watching, fix your green screen. Anyway, we shot each one in a day and a half, the other one in a day. And we had no time and money for error or for anything extravagant. This was gritty, but then again, the production and means were gritty, and the story was gritty. So it was tough, but very, very fulfilling.
Yeah, and for Miracle, right, the star of that short, we auditioned him. He flew from Trinidad to come audition. We didn't know that, but he got the part. And when it came time to shoot, he flew back. All right. Yeah. When he found out that we got into a couple of film festivals, for him, it was like the achievement of a lifetime. Right? Yeah. He couldn't believe it, right? So, his daughters, his brothers, and nieces and nephews were all like congratulating him and applauding him. Yeah. So for him, it was a big deal.
Yeah, he flew up on his own dime for the audition and then for the shoots, and he's gotten a lot of press in his country. He played a East Indian, but he's actually West Indian. He was so good, he won an award from Lee Strasberg, literally the best acting institution in the world, for this performance.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So you're saying that like it was really challenging basically doing this, like having to pull the creativity because you didn't have very much of a budget. And I mean, some of the best work comes from when you're not doing it for money, like you're really doing it for the drive. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like the two of you guys, you really have that drive, really have that passion. Do you have any advice for, someone who's just getting started, someone who maybe hasn't taken that step before and but wants to work without a budget?
Yeah, man. Listen, you just gotta go out there and do it. For a long time, right? I've had projects I sat on because I kept telling myself I need money to get it done. This is true, but don't let the lack of money be a deterrent, right? As you just mentioned yourself, man, the lack of resources brings out your creative juices,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be surprised at yourself and what you're able to accomplish on a dime, right? And one thing I like to, some of my pastime is to watch directors who've made it, watch like the first 2 or 3 films, see how grimy and gritty they are, as opposed to the kind of work they make as they get older because they have more money. I gotta tell you, man, the earlier films are always so much more honest and driven, man. So young filmmakers out there, man, just go out there and do it. No worry about the money.
Yeah. There's no excuse anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a studio right here. Okay. This is a film studio. You can shoot, you can edit, you can distribute all from here. What you really need is the idea and then the courage and the resilience.
And the drive.
The
You
drive.
need the drive, man.
You need
right?
to
You gotta be
push.
a mad man or a mad woman, right? Yeah.
That's the thing I'd say about art. You'd have to be insane to pursue this life, but you'd probably have to be more insane to live a life where you are denying what your heart truly calls for. So if this is who you feel you are, get the F up, get the F moving, write a short script, make sure it's honest, and then film it. Take a risk, fall on your face. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's what you're here for. People could hate our movies. That's okay. We have nits with our own stuff. You still got to do it. And not having money is not a great excuse anymore.
I mean, yeah, don't live your life in the what if, right?
Yeah. That's if you go against your gut, your heart, your calling, if you don't live without some degree of risk, you ain't really living.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that art, like if you're a true artist, you'll know, man, art is something you make because it needs to exist. Forget the
Yeah.
money aspect of it, man. I know we're living in a world now where art has been so monetized and it's all about, a bunch of equity firms coming in. But in the end, man, right, like we make art to get a sense of fulfillment, right? Like I just completed a screenplay that I know for a fact is never gonna get made, right? But I'm so happy that it exists.
I don't know.
Right? Well, no. It's something I did just to experiment, right? All these crazy ideas I had, I just put it on paper. I wasn't doing it to get to get made, but it's something that I had in me that had to let it out, right? And it just feels good to do that. So
we can make your movie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just by doing it at all, you never know what you're gonna.
Yeah, that's why he's saying that.
No, I have the copy. It's called Monologues in Black. We're gonna make that this year. We're doing another feature called You'll Do. Matter of fact, as soon as we're done with you, we have to, break down the script and budget and production. But we have a company called Two Hander, and we're working on 2 features, amongst other things. The first is called You'll Do, and the second is Monologues in Black. And art is about being of service. It's something bigger than you. So like these stories, Una Carta and Miracle, they came out of us writing 20 or 15 short scripts. They had to exist, and we had to be of service to them. So be of service to something bigger than yourself, even if it scares you. Make your films.
I love that's very beautifully spoken. Thank you so much, JT and Alan. So, you guys, you can check out Una Carta a mis Hijas and Miracle on 74th Street at Asbury Lanes on Saturday, March 23rd. The block is 11:45 a.m. to 2 p.m. JT and Alan. I hope to see you both at the Garden State Film Festival this year, where there are 200 films screening across 8 venues, including hosting parties, panels, events, and more. Guys, get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. I'm your host, Emily DeSimone, and thank you again, the two of you, for joining me, and best of luck with Monologues in Black.
Thank you. Thanks, Emily. See you, Garden State. Peace.